Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere with us, anywhere in the world, but you chose to come here to listen to two black nerds geek about giant monsters, and we appreciate you. Welcome.
Very nice, very nice. Welcome back to the channel, kaiju monster fans, giant lizard fans alike, Hydra fans alike. I am D. Vince, and this is another edition of MonsterVerse in Review, where we will be reviewing every film in the Warner Brothers and legendary kaiju monster cinematic universe starring Godzilla and King Kong. And we have already talked about Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island. So if you guys haven't checked those out, I'll leave a link in the description to a playlist called Monsterverse in Review. You can hear our thoughts on those movies. But this is the final stop till Godzilla vs. Kong, being released Wednesday, March 31st in theaters and on HBO Max. It's time. We will be talking about the third entry of the Monsterverse and the sequel to Godzilla 2014, Godzilla King of the Monsters. And joining with me today, doing that awesome intro, I have kaiju monster enthusiast Nick Folson.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and like I keep saying, the beautiful people right in the middle of the rainbow. How are we doing today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Just a few days away till Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm really excited, really jazzed.
Oh, it's one of the many things that are keeping me going because, oh God, it's weird that we are at the end of March. It does not feel we're at the end of March.
Yeah, time has flown by. Like, goodness
And of
gracious.
course, I had to accessorize with the proper shirt, even though I've literally, you may not have noticed, I've been wearing a Godzilla shirt. Majority of the times you've seen me, but I had to go with a personal favorite for Godzilla 2000, which was one of the first movies I saw.
Yeah, love Godzilla 2000. I'm such a big Godzilla fan that I don't have any Kaiju Monster T-shirts. I am the scum of humanity. I'm a traitor, so I had to settle for the second best thing, which is here's a Jurassic World shirt. I mean, it's
Plus,
I
it,
know.
and isn't, oh God, when is the next Jurassic World movie supposed to come out?
I think it's June of next year.
Oh,
Yeah, June 2023. So we will see how that goes.
so Dwayne, 2023 is next year.
Yeah.
2023, 2023. I feel like you're skipping a year.
I was doing so well. 2022 2022 is when
uh,
Jurassic World Dominion is going to be released.
you guys have to give a like for this man. This man can't do basic math, so you got to give him a like and subscribe and ring that bell notification for it. Come on, guys.
Man, half the time I feel like my brain is fried because all these videos I've been uploading the past few weeks, like trying to keep up. We still got to do Conjuring Universe in review, and we're doing more parts of Snyder Cut spoiler podcast. So I'm like, haven't had a lot of sleep, so I'm trying to focus. But anyway, we're here. But anyway, you ready to piss off some people today?
I mean, that's probably going to be your part, but I'm going to be hopefully the one hyping everyone. So
Right. So we've enjoyed the MonsterVerse. Did you just sneeze?
yes, I did. Thank God I muted myself.
Bless you. Anyway, so we've really enjoyed the first two installments of the MonsterVerse, Godzilla and Kong Skull Island. Thought they were really fun times, and we really liked how Kong and Godzilla were portrayed in those movies. So we're excited to see more from this MonsterVerse. So at the end of Kong Skull Island, there was an end credit scene, setting up the next MonsterVerse film, which is the next Godzilla movie, showing a bunch of cave drawings of Godzilla and other familiar kaiju monsters. They had Mothra, they had Rodan, and they had King Ghidorah. And we freaked out, like, oh my god, they're going to set up all three of these monsters, like they're going to be in all three of these monsters are going to be in Godzilla 2. I'm like, oh my god, I was a kid on Christmas morning. I could not wait. Um, so do you remember, like, when the marketing started to come out for this movie? They had that one trailer that came out like a year before the movie came out, and it's like the that trailer was really good. Like it was awesome. Like the effects looked so cool, the colors and all the the all the monsters that there looked really great. It looked like it was the first Godzilla on steroids. Like it looked really great, but it really confused me that they they released a trailer that early, and so I felt like the hype for this film kind of went down a little bit. I don't know, because nobody was really talking about the movie as much going into it. Like, so it really confused me why they released it a year before it was coming out. But anyway, other than that, the marketing looked really good. So the director they had for this movie was Doherty. Michael Dougherty. Okay, so he directed Trick or Treat and Krampus. I
Both great movies. I highly recommend. They are
Yeah,
perfect for Halloween and Christmas.
oh yeah, I really like both of those movies. So definitely was looking forward to seeing what he would do with this MonsterVerse. I know it's like a big order to fill. Not only do you have to, top the previous two movies, but also you have these huge iconic kaiju monsters that you have to juggle all in one movie. Um as far as Mothra, Rodan, and Ghidorah, of course, grew up watching them with the older Godzilla movies. Godzilla and Mothra, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, Mecha King Ghidorah, Godzilla versus Rodan. So I was really excited to see all of them on screen. Um, I will, as I said before, though, I wasn't the biggest fan of Rodan. I think he's okay, but still looking forward to seeing how he will be utilized in the film. But other than that, I was just really excited. And Mothra, God, man, I love me some Mothra, queen of the monsters. Like finally gonna get him, because I know people were speculating that the winged creature that they saw in the 2014 marketing, they thought, oh, that was Mothra, and I'm like, no, 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 no. The queen of the monsters deserves a better intro than that. You don't hide Mothra in the marketing. You don't do that. And then King Ghidorah, beast. Oh my god. I didn't even think they were just gonna blow their load on that one too. Like, oh my god, just so excited for this movie. So when this movie was first released, it didn't do very well. Um, this is the lowest rated film in the MonsterVerse, and box office wise, I think it did the least out of all three of them so far, and that really shocked me. Right now it has a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes. And when I hear reviews or people talking about this movie, people are saying, "Oh my God, it's such a disappointment. It's a mess. It's boring. Like the human stuff is just overblown. The story didn't make any sense." So going into this, I was worried, because like up until this point, they had favorable reviews with Kong and Godzilla 2014. But just the marketing looked so good. I was just like, what could be so bad about this movie? I don't understand it. So I got to see this in IMAX. Like, yeah, just finally, like this is the first film of the MonsterVerse where I was able to see this in IMAX. And I remember going to see it, and there wasn't many people in the showing that I was in, and it was that kind of bummed me out a little bit because I was really expecting like a crowd, excitement in there, and it's like on the biggest screen possible. I was expecting an adrenaline rush from the crowd, but like there wasn't many people going to see it, so I was like, oh my god, what, oh no. But anyway, going to my actual thoughts, what did I think about Godzilla, King of the Monsters? I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Oh my God, this movie is so good. This is so great. What is wrong with people? This is everything, almost everything that I wanted to see in a kaiju monster film, in a Godzilla movie. This was such an enjoyable time. Like, man, just it. I don't know. It's hard for me to form words, and especially seeing this in IMAX for the first time. There was just so many awesome things in this movie. Like, it was such a fun film. I definitely thought this was a step up from 2014, and I enjoyed this more than Kong Skull Island. Like, I have to say this, I'll say up front, this is probably my favorite of the MonsterVerse movies so far. We'll see how Godzilla versus Kong does, but like, man, I love this film. I loved it. It's just everything that I imagined this movie would be. This is what it was. Godzilla King of Monsters. It's awesome. But all right, Nick, give it to us. What did you think about Godzilla King of the Monsters?
So when they announced that Godzilla was going to get a sequel, I think everyone was pretty excited. And then once it was announced that Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah were going to be there, even more people were excited because those are part of Toho's Big Five. Now, if you don't know what that means, is pretty much the Big Five for Toho is Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Mechagodzilla. Those are like the most popular and most like those are their most recognizable monsters. So who knows if we'll see Mechagodzilla in Godzilla versus Kong. Don't spoil, no one posts spoilers in the comments or anything. We'll see it when we see it. Dwayne, don't you do that shit to me.
I
But
won't do
no,
that to you. I won't do that to you.
but no, it was crazy. But then I got concerned that they were named it Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now, for people who don't know, when the original Godzilla came out here in America, that was the title of it, Godzilla King of the Monsters, which if you haven't seen, if you want to see a version of the original with Raymond Burr in it, go watch it. I recommend it. It's pretty good. So I was like, that's weird. Why did they name it that? But like Dwayne, I saw it in theaters too. I sadly saw it at a regular viewing, not in IMAX. More on that later. But when I went there, it wasn't a big crowd either. There was a small spattering of people there. So I was like, that's weird. It's Godzilla. You would expect like people to come see Godzilla. Hell, Shin Godzilla, when it had its limited release in like 2016, Jesus Christ, that was 2016. It's now 2021. Holy shit. Sorry, had it X
No,
had a
that's getting
little,
old there.
yeah, we're getting old, but that had a huger crowd than who saw King of the Monsters, and I was a little that's just concerning. But this is a fucking just fun movie. It is the epitome of a modern Showa Godzilla movie. The old movies that your parents and probably when we were kids saw that came out in the 70s of just Godzilla wrecking shit and saving the world and fighting monsters. It's the perfect modern encapsulation of that. And it's honestly my favorite of the MonsterVerse. And hopefully Call versus Kong will replace that. Who knows? But I love this movie. It's so much fun.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, where do we start with this?
Well, let's start at the beginning because that's a very good place to start.
Okay, well, at the very beginning, yeah. Well, comparing this to 2014, where we didn't see Godzilla for an hour into the movie, in this one, within 2 minutes, Godzilla's there. There he is. There he is. Now, granted, it was like a setup, but this this movie immediately knew what you wanted to see. Adding on top of, with Kong, they didn't wait to show you the monsters. Like, seriously, within a few minutes, you see the monsters. You feel their presence. They're not hiding anything. Um, I'll say, yeah, up front, I think that, been loving the cinematography for all these movies, but this one I really liked a lot. It added on top of how massive in scale these movies feel and how massive in scale these monsters feel. And one thing that's distinct about this movie is the colors that they use. Like I really like how it feels even more vibrant than Kong Skull Island, because I thought in Kong Skull Island it was really vibrant with the oranges and stuff like that. But it's like the way they utilize color in this, it felt unique to the other movies. Like one of the things we weren't loving as much is like how Godzilla, like some scenes were lit really dark and you couldn't see what the monsters were doing. This one still had some dark monster fights, but at the same time, like the nighttime shots still looked vibrant. It still looked clear where you could see what's going on. And the way they utilized color in the movie gave a sense of like atmosphere, especially like because with some of the kaiju monsters, they're they are bending like the climate and all the environments around them. Like they just the use of color and scale in this movie is just so it's just so popping, it just pops, pops, pops. Like so many beautiful images and just shots in this movie. We're talking about in all three of these movies. There's a lot of shots where it feels like you could use it as desktop wallpaper. Every almost every shot of this movie, desktop wallpaper, desktop wallpaper, desktop wallpaper. It really felt like art you're seeing on the screen. Like, oh my god, this is my favorite cinematography up until this point. It's really beautiful how Michael shot this film. Um, I'm gonna save the monsters for last because there's a lot we going to say about them. But we let's address the elephants in the room. Let's get these humans out the way because that seems to be the biggest controversy of this movie are the humans. I keep hearing this same complaint over and over again that the human stuff is atrocious. The human stuff is boring. The human stuff is taken away from the monsters. I I
Not
disagree.
really.
I really disagree with that. Like I don't know what people were expecting with the human stuff in these movies. Like, I don't know what people want for these. Like, do they want these human characters to have like layers and deep backstories, or do they just want this to be a silent film with no humans and just have monsters throughout the entire film without any humans whatsoever? Like, do they want to? What do they want? You know, like comparing this to the other humans in the previous films. I think these humans are better than the ones in 2014. The Kong Skull Island, I feel is kind of neck and neck, but I feel like the humans are better utilized in this one than they were in Skull Island. Because in Skull Island, I felt like there was a lot of interesting characters in there, but it felt like we got lost in the shuffle with a handful of them where you forgot they were in the movie. Like, because people were like split in different groups and not everyone had the same amount of screen time. This one also has a lot of characters. So if there's one nitpick I have, yeah, they still didn't need this many human characters. But what makes this different from Kong Skull Island is that even with them having a lot of human characters, there's like a handful of them that are only used in one or two scenes. So the movie's not setting you up to be like, oh, they're that important. They're just there to do a certain job. Unlike with Skull Island, where they're trying to make everyone feel like they're really important, like they're main characters, but not all of them, give them out of screen time. All the a chunk of them are just, there to do a job. There's soldiers, there's scientists and all this stuff, and like they're there to do one thing, and then that's it. Then they move on. But I feel like they had a better they focused the main characters better in this one, and I feel like they're better written than they were in the previous two movies. So specifically with the main family that we focus on, with Kyle Chandler and Vera Farmiga and Millie Bobby Brown, I actually like their family dynamic in this. It almost reminded me of what they were trying to do in Godzilla 2014 with Bryan Cranston and Aaron Taylor Johnson and stuff like that. They tried to add another kind of family dynamic to it, and also they have some sort of connection with with the events of what happened in San Francisco because they lost the son during that fight with Godzilla and the Mutos, and so Vera Farmiga's character and Kyle Chandler's character is like got separated because of that. They moved on, stuff like that. I think they were divorced. I don't think did they clearly say that in the movie. I don't think they did, but I think it's implied that they got divorced. They stuff didn't work out. So Millie Bobby Brown is with, stay with the Vera Farmiga's character and stuff like that, and they're also helping with Monarch as well because Vera works for Monarch and is creating this device. This sonar device. I forgot what it was called.
The
Uh,
Orca.
the Orca. Yes, thank you. The Orca, which is what they're using to communicate with the monsters, like via sonar to give some sort of signal to the monsters, so I guess they communicate and semi control them, but it's more like a communications thing. But anyway, I thought that whole dynamic was interesting, and with Kyle Chandler, I thought he was really good, and I felt like he was trying the best. He was trying the most to harken it, harness that performance that Bryan Cranston was trying to do in the first movie. Do I think it was 100% as as good as Brian? No, but I felt like he was really close. He was trying to bring that similar emotion, and once again, being it's he's enforcing the fact that not only that you know the government has to figure out what's going on with these kaiju monsters, what they're trying to do with the world, but he's also trying to kill them because he's like he said he thinks these kaiju monsters are too dangerous to be out in the world. So he's all like, you need to kill them all, and also holding back to the fact that they're the cause of their son, being not being around, not being alive anymore. So I thought all that stuff was interesting. Well, what human stuff stood out to you? How did you feel overall about the human stuff? Which human character stood out to you? That stuff.
So, the Godzilla franchise usually is not the best with human characters because we all know why we're here. There are standouts in the franchise, even going back to the original with Dr. Serizawa, Emiko, and Harada, and Dr. Yamane. But let's be real, most of the time they're serviceable for the plot and also as an audience surrogate figure. So they ask all the questions, but they're not the reason why we're there. And the characters in King of the Monsters are just fine. They're fine. They drive the plot. We have they they do stuff that we care about. They're perfectly fine. Anyone who's saying that they're terrible, trust me, they're not terrible. There's a
They're not.
lot worse in this franchise. Trust me.
Yeah.
The Netflix trilogy. Sorry. I had a little cough in my throat.
See, I haven't seen that yet, so I don't know how bad the human characters are in that. But
Well, like I said, it's on Netflix if you want to give it a watch.
I might have to give it. I might have to give it a shot.
But
But
I thought they were just fine. And it was as a if you are a musical theater fan like myself and you are have continued to watch Hamilton on Disney Plus, you'll recognize that Anthony Ramos has a small little bit part in there. If you don't know who that is, he was John Lawrence in Hamilton and also Philip Hamilton in Hamilton. So this was kind of like his big break into feature films, and who
cool.
will also be playing Usnavi in The Heights, which I am ecstatic for that. That's definitely going to get a podcast review.
Oh, okay. You want to review Into the Heights? We could do that.
Hell yeah, you'll like it, Dwayne.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in that. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. But yeah, I think the human characters overall are completely fine, and they are there to get us from point A to point B, and I don't think they took so much focus away from the monsters, because we still get a lot of monster action in there. But I think they did just enough so we care enough about what happens to the humans. Like we're okay with following them throughout all these occurrences. I think they're just fine. And once again, it's a star-studded cast in this one. Like, as we said, Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown. I thought she was a standout too in the movie. I've watched Stranger Things, so I thought she was good as 11, and Enola Holmes too. I thought she was really good as that as well. Of course, Ken Watanabe coming back, and with Sally Hawkins. Once again, they're really good in the movie. Um, Spoilers: it was really sad when Sally Hawkins and Ken Watanabe's character died in the movie. Oh my god! I was like, no, don't sacrifice them. No, I want to see more. I want them in Godzilla versus Kong, but nope, they gotta die. I'm like, oh man, I was really sad. See, how are the human characters bad? Where I want to, I actually felt something when they died. Like they must be doing something right. But anyway, yeah. So they're in this movie. O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube's son's in this. So all three actors from Straight Outta Compton is in the MONSTERVERSE. So that's pretty cool. Charles Dance is in this. Zhang Ziyi. Yes, I love Zhang Ziyi. We have a lot more to say about her later when it comes to the Mothra stuff. But like, I'm so glad they put her in this movie. But yeah, such a big cast, and I enjoyed all of them. I thought all of them did a really good performance. The one person that kind of off to me was Bradley Whitford's character, you could feel like they're pushing him to be the comic relief. And there was a couple of jokes that
Mhm.
he said and some dialogue that he said that I thought worked, but there were some of them where I was just like, huh? What? Why'd you say
Oh,
that?
oh my God, Zilla.
Oh my gosh. But you know what? I'm in. It's fine. It's whatever. Um, with Faramiga's stuff, I thought she was really good. I really like her. She's really good in the Conjuring movies, and we'll be continuing to talk about the Conjuring films on this channel. But I thought she was really good. However, okay, so there's one thing where I can kind of understand why people have a problem with the human stuff because her motivations halfway through the movie is kind of strange. And her whole like affiliation with Charles Dance's character with these eco terrorists thing, it felt it felt a bit convoluted. I felt like there could have been a smoother way for them to try and incorporate how they release all these monsters and we get to Ghidorah. I felt there could have been a more natural way of doing that because they're doing this whole elaborate thing of like, if we need to release all these kaiju monsters so they can pretty much cleanse the earth and all the nature will come back because of their presence, stuff like that. And in order to do that, thousands upon thousands, probably millions have to die in the process. And it's like, oh, it's like this new world order Bible stuff. And I'm like, I felt that was a bit heavy handed, I don't know. I feel like it would have been just fine if, we can keep the eco terrorist stuff with Charles Dance, but like I think it just would have been more smoother if he was just making them do all this stuff instead of Vera Farmiga being like, "Yeah, I'm okay with this whole new world order with monsters. I want millions of lives to be destroyed in the process." Like I don't know, it just felt like a whiplash of motivation. So it's like it just would have been smoother if he just had a mustache, quote unquote mustache twirling villain with Charles Dance and just him forcing everything to happen. They're forcing them to activate King Ghidorah. He wants all this stuff to happen. So it's like, I don't know. How would you feel about her motivation in the movie? Did that fully work for you?
Oh no, it didn't. It was so weird. Just first being like, no, I don't want to do this. Then being like, yeah, actually, I do want to do this. Just become pretty much a terrorist, and then turning back to good after it did not work for me. And I don't think it worked for a majority of people, even with how good the performance was. It was just one of those you could just made Charles Dance the villain. I think he would have been fine with it. Charles Dance is always a good actor to play villains, so just have him be the main threat. Yeah, I don't think it worked for anyone.
Yeah, like I agree. It's like, because he's pretty solid in the movie, but it's like I feel like he didn't have enough to do. I mean, of course, he's like one of the main antagonists of the film, but it's like he could have been utilized more in the story. So it's like it's Charles Dance, man. Like as I said, really good actor. You gotta utilize him more, and it would have been just fine if we had a mustache twirling villain because this is a movie about giant monsters. I'm fine with having a villain there as long as he is incorporated well, like Samuel L. Jackson in Kong Skull Island. Even though his motivation, felt more well-rounded, but it could be similar to the lines of that. I would have been just fine with it. All right, let's not waste any more. Let's not waste any more time.
Oh, actually, that's one
Huh?
thing I want to talk about.
Oh, go ahead.
The music.
The music.
Let's
Oh,
talk about the music.
let's talk. Let's talk about it.
Because Bear McCreary, oh, you beautiful man. He brought his A game to this new movie.
Yes.
I know we're jumping ahead, but who cares? Who cares? It still works. When
Mhm.
Godzilla first encounters Ghidorah, and you just hear the Godzilla theme, I literally had goosebumps on me. I had goosebumps just hearing that powerful score that everyone and their grandma knows. You all know that song. So when you hear that, I was like, oh, it was beautiful. And then including the Mothra song in the movie, the
Oh,
Masuraya, Masura.
that was
Oh,
my
I
favorite.
was like, oh,
That
there it
was
is.
that was my favorite. Oh my god, I loved it so much.
And then to even get better, the fucking end credits uses Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult featuring the lead singer of System from a Down. It's like, excuse me? Excuse me? Wait, what? I didn't even ask. I didn't ask for this. I take it.
Yeah,
Oh God.
you're talking about that. Oh no, he said
Yeah.
he's got to go. Oh, Godzilla.
Yeah, that's a real song. That's my
Yeah.
Blue Oyster Cult. That came out like in the 70s.
Yeah, and I recently heard that the old one for the first time. And I'm like, that's the Godzilla theme. It's like hearing it for the first time in the theater. I was like, this is really cool. This is a nice rendition. I really like that. Yeah, man. And
Oh,
like I like that. Yeah, you hear the original Godzilla theme in this one. It fits so perfectly in this movie. And they gave themes for all the monsters. Rodan had a theme, Mothra has a theme, as we said, and King Ghidorah even had a theme. Like, and all of them fit for them so perfectly. It's just, oh my god, I love the score so much.
Ifukube would be a proud man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, you ready to talk about the monsters now? Let's talk
Oh,
about,
is the Pope Catholic? Let's do this.
yes, the MVPs of this film. Who you came to see? Oh, let's start with Rodan. Let's start with Rodan. So, as you guys know, I'm the toughest on Rodan. I think he's fine with him being on the A class of the kaiju monsters. I don't know. He, to me, he felt the most out of place because like I didn't feel like there was much with him. He's just a giant pterodactyl. He doesn't have as much abilities as the other main kaiju monsters. So I was like, this is kind of odd to me. But but Rodan in this movie is fucking terrifying. He was so cool, man. I'm becoming more of a Rodan fan now because of this film. Rodan was utilized so well in this movie. For those of you who watch the older Rodan, the older movies with Godzilla and Rodan, they even do slight homages to it because we remember that the in the older movies the Rodan, I think there were two Rodans, I think, and they were killed by a volcano. And how poetic is it that in this one, that Rodan emerges out of a volcano? Like, oh my God, it was just so awesome, man. Like, it almost felt like Rodan had something to prove in this movie. Like, yeah, I'm on the level of Mothra, Ghidorah, and Godzilla. I'm badass, and he sure was. When he erupted out of that volcano, I was like, holy shit. And then there's you know, that whole fight in the air with the planes and stuff like that. And like whenever he's flapping his wings, like you see just the lava, all over his wings. And whenever he's just flapping, he causes major windstorms on the city and all this stuff. I was just like, this is amazing. Oh my gosh. And then when he's in the dogfight with the planes and stuff like that, he does this freaking twirling effect and just taking out planes left and right. Like this is freaking badass using his claws and stuff like that, grabbing all the planes. I'm just like, wow. Yep, I'm a Rodan fan now. This is amazing. I loved it. What did you think about Rodan this movie?
Ooh, I'm getting a little hot under the collar. Pun fully intended.
We haven't
But
even got to the main course.
oh, they did Rodan really good because I like even because as Dwayne said, if you've seen the original Rodan, they're the two Rodans in the movie sacrifice themselves for a volcano and him popping out of it is good symbolism for if you know it, but even then it's just powerful. And when he just soars above the city, just decimates it with with hurricane force winds. Oh, it was you actually. That's such a tense moment, especially when like one of the soldiers, who's I believe it's Osei Jackson's character, has to rescue a kid who's literally getting blown away in the wind. You're like, oh my god! And like Dwayne said, the dogfight with the Jets and Rodan. That's a fantastic scene. Even him, someone trying to eject themselves out of their plane, and Rodan's like, "Nah, son, just eats them." Just eats them. I know I'm like one of the 5 people in the world who gets it, but that felt such like a moment from the giant claw. Oh, magnifique. Say magnifique.
Oh, Oh my gosh, just so great, so good. Um, okay, let's go to let's go to King Ghidorah, Monster Zero, as they
Oh, when they said
stated
that,
it.
I was like the only person who squealed in the theater. I was like,
Yes, yes, it's so good. Oh my gosh, King Ghidorah, he's so great, so great. Um, like what can you say, man? Like he just looks so good, man. And it's like I like the little details, with them having the three heads. There's like sometimes where the three heads aren't always on the same page and they're like snapping at each other and stuff like that. And just I just overall I just like the design of Ghidorah, like just the horns on them and just it just looks so detailed, man. And the wings, like one of the nitpicks from the older movies with Ghidorah is that the wings I felt it looked a little stiff in the old movies, in my opinion. Like it felt like it didn't have a lot of, you know, breathing room to like move or whatever. But these wings are they're more stretched out. They're more dynamic. It didn't feel stiff like it. And there was like also a few scenes in the movie where like it like those just how seeing how massive those wings are, it's like I just like the little details like that, man. And then what one other thing they added for Ghidorah, they made him more of like the of a hydra, because in the original uh well, in this movie, one of his heads gets beheaded and then he regenerates another head. I don't think that happened in the old movies. So it's like that's one of the thing they added. Like another head just pops out, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. I like that. And then the lightning breath that they have, oh my god, just so cool. Like in the first Godzilla movie, we liked how when he was doing his fire breathing stuff, they built up the stuff. You hear the run, 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 and then the lights on his spike on his tail would light up and stuff like that. They did a similar thing with Ghidorah in this one, where it's like you hear a pump out going, run, 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 and then you see their neck lighting up, and that builds up into the lightning strikes and stuff like that. Oh my god, I love the little details that they add to these monsters to give them character. Love that so much. What did you think about Ghidorah in this movie?
oh, okay. So Ghidorah is, I would say, outside of Godzilla, one of the most iconic monsters in the franchise. Like everyone knows of that. When they think of Godzilla, they think of literally it's either Ghidorah or Mothra or Mecha Godzilla. When you think of it, he is that iconic. He is the Joker to Batman, the Thanos to the Avengers, the Jaws to Amity. But like they did such a great job. And like Dwayne said, the three heads having their own personalities, and they actually have names. They actually gave them names: Ichi, Me, and Kevin. And I love that. Literally, that's their official names. Michael Dougherty actually answered this on his Twitter when the movie was coming out, and just that they gave him personalities. Like one is the leader, two is the gruff one, and three is like the derpy one. I think I love that. And
Mhm.
the scale, like they made
Scale.
Ghidorah so powerful, and I love that they kept him an alien, because I was worried about
Yeah.
that they were just going to make him another Titan. But no, they said like, no, he's an alien, and
Yeah.
that is Ghidorah. He's either an alien, or he's in like the Heisei series. He's a creature from the future that was brought back due to time travel shenanigans. Which thank God they didn't do that, because I don't think we need time travel in the MONSTERVERSE.
I
So
don't want
let's just
that.
stick with aliens. But
Right.
Ghidorah was, they honestly nailed him. They nailed it, and it's gonna be interesting, even from both here in the West and also from Toho. However, how the hell they're gonna do another Ghidorah? Because we got one. We got one. I'll just tell you, Dwayne. There's a Ghidorah in the anime that's also pretty cool. But it's
Mhm.
just wondering where can they go with next for him.
Right. Yeah, I also like that they kept him an alien, crash landing in some ice, similar to how they did with Megatron in the Michael Bay Transformers movies. So I thought that was interesting. Um, and then that them introducing aliens in this universe gives more possibility of seeing other alien kaijus in the future, possibly like maybe we will see Space Godzilla or Destroya or Gigan. I want to see Gigan. Like
Guy again?
Gigan. I can never say. I don't know if it's Gigan or Gigan because I keep hearing this, both of them. So I'm like, which
It's
one's the
Guy
right one?
again.
Gigan.
It's
Okay, that's what I thought. So Gigan. Now, Gigan, I'll admit, is probably going to be kind of tough to do in this universe because he's a really out there design. It's a giant chicken with giant sharp swords as hands and whatever. But I don't care. I want to see it one day. I want to see it. But yeah, it gives the possibility we could see space kaiju monsters in the future. So I definitely like that. And then also with Ghidorah, like he also can create thunderstorms and lightning storms wherever he goes. So it's like that's freaking badass, man. It's like so many shots where he just unleashes lightning and just creates a huge freaking cloud of darkness wherever he goes. It's just so ominous and badass and metal. This movie's metal as fuck, man. But yeah, so great. All right, the queen of the monsters, Mothra. Oh my gosh, I was so excited to see Mothra in this movie. Mothra is one of my favorite kaiju monsters outside of Godzilla, and King Caesar. I love me some King Caesar as well. But um, but yeah, I was just so excited to see how they would utilize Mothra in these movies, and I was worried they were going to make her. Yeah, Mothra's a her, by the way, for those you don't know. Mothra's a female, but I'm I'm glad that it didn't make her weak, because what that's one of the things I was worried about going through this movie. I thought they were going to make her like this really, you know, like make her the weakest out of the four monsters because you're like, she just is a giant moth that shoots webs or whatever, or has like this magic dust and can communicate with Godzilla. So they could have just made her like this little daffodil throughout the entire movie, but she actually was really imposing. Even within her opening scene, when she's in her base form, she's not in her prime moth form. Even then, I was like, you felt the scale and you felt the intimidation and presence of Mothra. Like she was nothing to be messed with. So I really liked that they gave her just due in that. And then when she does, you know, get out of her cocoon and turn into the prime Mothra, it was so beautiful. And so the Mothra theme playing, and she's under the waterfall and stuff like that, and you just see her beautiful, bright, turquoise, glowing wings, just so exotic. And then just even her I wouldn't even call her a roar, but the noise she makes, the I'm like, oh my god, this is great. This is perfect. This is amazing. I loved it. So great. And I like that they gave a connection between her and Godzilla. Like you felt like they, had a bond with each other throughout the movie. And they also help each other when it comes to the climax. We'll talk about that soon. But yeah, I just loved it. I love this design. This might be my favorite design of Mothra because they just made her more. She looked more menacing in this one. Like in this one, like even though I really like her design in the old movies, like it didn't feel scary. Like it didn't feel like intimidating that much. She looked cool, but it's like if you're comparing it to the other monsters like Godzilla and Ghidorah and all the other stuff, they look kind of scary and menacing. But this one, she actually looks she looked like a menacing moth right here. So I liked it a lot. What do you think about Mothra?
So this is where I may draw the ire of people. I'll confess, out of all the big five, Mothra is my least favorite.
How dare
I
you?
know, I know, I know, but like it was that she barely did anything. She was so weak in the in the old Toho movies. She really didn't doing anything. Like and the thing is, she has like two of the best movies in the Showa era, Mothra and Mothra versus Godzilla. Like those are some fantastic movies, but she's just doesn't do anything. And then it got worse in like the Heisei era where they made her this really fluffy, cute butterfly piece of shit And then
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least in but then it got better in Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Attack, where she actually looked kind of menacing. She looked that was my favorite design of Mothra. But here they actually made her a threat. Like she actually defended herself. And it was just literally like as Dwayne said, the scene where she rises from the waterfall was spectacular. It was absolutely gorgeous. And the amazing thing that I don't even think me I think both me and Dwayne will agree. We didn't think they would do this. They actually tied back to the twins, to the twins
Yes.
that always is with are always with Mothra. Because if you've seen the original Godzilla movies, there's always twin fairies called the Shobijin usually that are with Mothra that are her representatives. And it was amazing that they actually tied that back with the Monsterverse. And I think most of us were genuinely shocked that they would do that because that's such a niche thing that you think, oh, that can be put away. But no, they actually did it. That's one thing I love about this movie and Michael Dougherty, because you can tell Michael Dougherty, he is a Godzilla fan. He's not just, this isn't just a paycheck. This is something he wanted to do. He wanted to make a Godzilla movie. You can tell he is a fan of these characters.
Absolutely. And they made Zhang Ziyi the twins. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. And yeah, as we said, yeah, we didn't think they would go that far with, doing homages to Mothra because it's so out there. But Michael was like, no, screw it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna have the twins in this movie. And it's like, oh, this is just so cool. It's so great. It took me a minute to process that too, because I was like, because Zhang Ziyi was with Mothra, and we just saw her, on the plane with everyone else with the other group, and I was like, wait a minute, what? How is she that? What? And then, oh, 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 we're doing this! Yes, yes! Oh my god, it's so cool! Loved it, so good. Okay, let's talk about the man.
Oh yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, Baragon.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, let's talk about Godzilla. Once again, not much to say except he's great. He's great. He's so good in this movie. Um, Adding on top of what I already loved about him in 2014, loved his design, and I like that there's more color to him in this one, slightly more color. They utilize more blue in his design, especially with his spikes, they glowing blue and stuff like that, and even
They
his
updated
atomic
him
breath
too.
is brighter blue. Like yes, like I thought the ones in the previous movie looked a little faded, but in this one it's like nope, it is a popping blue fire breath in all of its glory, and it looks so good. um, but yeah, I mean, not too much to say about it because like there's not a lot that they changed from 2014. It's just just adding on top of what we already liked about him. So I thought he was great in this. There's a lot of awesome crowd pleasing moments that he does in this movie. Specifically talking about the climax, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I really liked him in this, and they didn't waste any time showing him in the movie. And once again, adding on top of he has a soft spot for the humans. He's not evil. He's there to preserve the natural order. And Ghidorah is definitely not part of the natural order, so he got some work to do with him. So I definitely liked that they kept that. Um, yeah, I just thought he was really good. How did you feel about Godzilla in this movie?
Oh, so they actually did redesign him slightly from 2014. They actually changed his dorsal spikes. They're a lot more like the standard maple leaf design compared to more jagged in the 2014.
Right.
But
Okay. Yeah.
and this is pretty much going to be the look that's in Kong. And honestly, I love this look. I think this is my like third favorite Godzilla design because they hit the perfect balance for him. But he is such a powerhouse in this movie. Like he is such a powerhouse in this movie. Like he is. I think everyone will agree is like the MVP for this movie. And the iconic shot where Godzilla rises out of the water and just shoots his atomic breath into the sky, that's going to be on people's posters and just in Godzilla iconic moments for years to come.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Just so beautiful. Loved it. Um, and then I think he also gets a slight power up in this movie because like
Oh yeah, let's talk
yeah,
about that.
yeah, let's talk about that. So during the battle with Rodan and Ghidorah, because they fight for a little bit, and then Ghidorah, also wreaking havoc as well. Godzilla comes and has a fight with them in the ocean. Then the government, the stupid ass government, gets an oxygen bomb
Yeah,
and tries to
no, wait a minute. Not just an oxygen bomb. They get a fucking the oxygen destroyer. I literally was like, no, when they said that. For people who don't know, that is the device in the original Godzilla movie that killed Godzilla. That is a very important, and hell, that's because of that device was also the reason we get Destroyer in Godzilla versus Destroyer. That device is a big deal. It's not just here we go. Like that thing killed the original Godzilla. So when he said literally when the government was like, we are using the oxygen destroyer, I was like, oh. So anyway, continue, Dwayne. And
no,
now that
you're
you've been informed,
yes, thank you, because I actually forgot about I forgot about that when I first saw it. So yes, the oxygen destroyer they're gonna use to blow up all the monsters, and yeah, it did work for Ghidorah and it did work for Rodan, but it definitely killed Godzilla for a minute. Well, not completely killed him because he was still holding on to life slightly, but he had Mothra there to to keep to keep him alive enough so they can use another oxygen bomb to roid him out and power him up with all the radioactive juice and whatever. And I thought that was really nice, and there was a really beautiful scene with Ken Watanabe sacrificing himself and having that one last moment with
in
Godzilla. So
fucking Atlantis. He used the nuke in
yeah,
Atlantis, pretty
yeah.
much.
Oh, speaking of that, we didn't we haven't talked about this. They are introducing Hollow Earth in this movie, and that explains why he's able to go from one point of the Earth to the other so quickly because he goes through that. So they introduced that in this movie, and I think they're going to expand on it more in Godzilla versus Kong. But I'm glad they brought that up too. So I thought that was really cool. So that explained how he got to Atlantis and stuff like that. So really cool, really cool. But yeah, that whole scene with them, blowing him up again and him getting roided out, it's like, oh my god, it's so badass. And then he's ready for that final confrontation with King Ghidorah. Oh my god, so good. I think all the fights in this one is good. The first fight they had in Antarctica, that was really cool. Like that a lot. And then as we said, the Rodan stuff there was really cool. And then we get to this climax, so cool, so great. And then you even have the military there helping as well. It's so badass, so badass. And just we saw that shot in the trailer with them charging at each other, and I was just like, yes, yes, yes. And it's like just that overall fight was just so beautiful. And it's like, with Ghidorah having all three, heads and just biting at Godzilla in different parts, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then there was one shot where Godzilla was shooting its atomic breath and Ghidorah dodged it. It was like, ha, miss me, bitch. And then shot with the lightning. I was like, oh my God, this is so great. This is so cool. And just so many amazing moments. And then you even had like a tornado tag team match with Ghidorah and Godzilla and Mothra versus Rodan. Like right when Ghidorah looked like he was about to do the final blow on Godzilla, here comes Mothra out of the sky and just freaking wreaks havoc, man. And then yeah, Rodan got to come in like a simp to be like, "I'll help you, Ghidorah," and then fights Mothra. He's literally a simp in this movie, man.
This man said Rodan's a simp. This man used the word simp in front of me. Good Lord
Yeah,
Jesus.
as soon as he gets owned by Ghidorah, he's like, okay, yes, I'll serve you, Ghidorah, I'll serve you. But then when Godzilla blows up everybody, then Rodan's like, nope, I'm okay, I'm serving you, Godzilla. He's a simp in this movie. But anyway, I still love him in this film, but But yeah, that whole tornado tag team match I thought was cool. As we said, it's it's great seeing that, Mothra, holding her own in a fight. Just like, in the older movies, like it seemed a little hokey whenever she tries to fight. Like she has that, magical death, like I'm gonna put you to sleep and all this stuff. But no, in this one, she has a stinger and she stabs Rodan with it and stuff like that. Just like, and then she also uses her wing attacks as well. It's like some anime WWE hybrid stuff right here, man. It's metal as fuck, as we said. Just so freaking cool. And then, Ghidorah, is getting the one up on Godzilla and he's down and out. And then, oh my God, that was really sad. Mothra sacrifices herself for Godzilla, charges head on at Ghidorah, and then, Ghidorah shoots her with lightning and then she evaporates. And I was like, no, you killed Mothra in her first movie? Like, no, 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 no. This can't be happening right now. You can't kill Mothra in her first movie. But I think there's a possibility she can come back some way. So
Well,
I'm
man,
not.
Mothra is pretty much immortal.
Yeah, pretty
So
much. So I think we will see Mothra again in the future. But I was so sad that they killed her off in the first movie. But she went out with class because, like, even though she evaporated, her energy went into Godzilla, and then that's when Godzilla went nuclear. Nuclear Godzilla. Oh my gosh. When Vera Farmiga, looked like she was about to die, about to get killed by Ghidorah, and she was like, "Long live the king." And then you see some glowing red and yellow stuff in the background, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And then all the buildings are melting and stuff like that, and then you just see Godzilla, red, glowing, nuked out. Oh my gosh. And then Ghidorah tries to attack him, and then it ain't happening because guess what? Freaking giant fields of molten lava energy, and you see Mothra's wings in the field as well, and it's just she's freaking incinerating Ghidorah, just freaking melting at the seams and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh my god, it's so great. It just incinerates him with all that molten lava nuclear field that Godzilla freaking unleashes, and then all his debris crashes and whatever, and then oh my god, if you thought that Godzilla using his atomic breath down the Muto's throat in the first movie was badass, when Ghidorah's head gets out of the debris, we're thinking, what? How is he still alive? But no, 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 no. His head is decapitated and is in Godzilla's mouth, and then he uses his atomic breath and incinerates the head of Godzilla in his mouth. I'm just like, what is this movie? This is insane. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. How are people hating this? This is amazing. Oh my gosh. And then, oh, we forgot to talk about the other 17 and counting kaiju monsters that they introduced in this movie, or they say they exist. We don't see all 17, but it's like when they said there's 17 monsters on this planet and counting, I'm like, are we going to see all of them? I want to see all of them. But yeah, so they had a woolly mammoth and a giant
Behemoth,
spider, and then there was this,
Silica.
huh? Which one is that?
That's their names. Well, that's
Oh,
their
I'm sorry.
names.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, they have names. They have
Okay,
names. The
okay, so
woolly mammoth, his name's Behemoth.
okay.
Then
And
there's
then
like
the giant spider,
Methuselah,
the giant spider was
Silica.
silica, and then I didn't get a good look at the monster that erupted from the mountains. What was that one? I thought at first I thought it was Anguirus, and I was like, is that Anguirus? Because I'm about to freak out if it is, but we don't get a good shot at it. Like I would have freaked out if that was
Oh, yeah, I
Anguirus.
forgot his name. But no, Anguirus is in the movie apparently.
Yeah, I was like, where? It's like, is it that monster that's erupted from the mountains, or is he? We
Nope.
don't see him. Like,
He Michael Dougherty has, I think he's confirmed or he's alluded. There is a skeleton in the Hollow Earth Atlantis scene. That's Anguirus.
oh, he's a skeleton. That's what you gonna do to him? It's a skeleton. All right, whatever.
And even, but yeah, they show like literally they bring all these other monsters or titans as they're technically called. They
Mhm.
bring they're Ghidorah. He calls them earlier in the movie, and he uses them to wreak havoc. But since Ghidorah is dead, all the monsters convene onto Godzilla and crown him.
The king of the monsters.
Goddamn right.
Yep. And then another Muto was there too. I think that was the other monster that was
Yep,
there.
it was another Muto. Yep.
And then of course Rodan being the simp he is, be like, "That was so to you." But I'm just messing with y'all. I'm sure the Rodan fans like, Rodan's not a simp. Stop calling him that. Okay, I'm just joking. But yeah, there can only be one alpha on this earth. So yeah, I like that whole, inferiority complex that the monster were having with Ghidorah, and then Godzilla and Ghidorah trying to battle each other for dominance. So really love that. I like that they made that that whole rivalry with Godzilla and Ghidorah because they allude that this fight's happened before years ago. So I like that as well. Oh, we'll see what happens with the other alpha that's on this planet in the next movie. See who get domination from that. Oh, we didn't even talk about what team are we on, man? Are we Team Kong or are we Team Godzilla?
I mean, I think my shirt says it all. I think the shirt kind of says whose side I'm on.
Okay. Well, I've said this from the beginning. I'm actually Team Kong on this one. I'm Team Kong on this. Like I know everyone's shaking their
Oh
head
god,
at me,
I'm
be
getting
like,
Civil
"You."
War flashbacks all over again.
Yep, it's Civil War. It's
I'm getting
Batman v
Civil War
Superman.
flashbacks.
Like
Uh,
yeah. Like, yeah. So I know people are expecting Godzilla to win. And, after watching this movie, it's hard for you to fight that argument. But, I'm rooting for the underdog in this one, man. I really hope, they're not gonna make Kong a wuss in the next one. I'm sure they're not. I'm sure he's gonna be really great. But it's like people are expecting Godzilla to win because he has the atomic breath and all this stuff, and he battled all these other powerful monsters. But I'm like, don't sleep on Kong. He got his shit together too. So we'll see what
I
happens.
mean, we all know who's the real winner in all of this. The audience.
Fans.
The audience.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Um, but yeah, so that overall, it's just so cool. Like growing up, watching the older movies, like as I said, I've always dreamed to have all these iconic kaiju monsters in one movie in a modern U.S. telling of Godzilla, and I got it, and it was everything I wanted and more. Like it's just so great, so awesome. I mean, the human stuff, people want to complain about the human stuff, whatever. They didn't ruin my enjoyment, because the real MVPs of this movie are the monsters. That's what you come to this movie to see. So let's talk about that end credit scene in this movie. I actually waited till the credits this time because I didn't want, to get the surprise like with Kong Skull Island because I didn't know there was an end credit scene there. But I stayed till the end. So at the end, the eco terrorists, they they kept ahead of King Ghidorah, and so I guess that's setting up. Are they trying to? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to make their own monster? Are they trying to make a weapon to destroy the other monsters? So that really left it open ended. So interesting to see what they will do with that. Is that going to tie into stuff possibly in Godzilla versus Kong, or is there going to be other things they will set up after Godzilla versus Kong for a bigger threat and stuff like that? So interesting. It's very interesting. How would you feel about that end credits scene?
I honestly thought they were setting up Mecha King Ghidorah. I literally thought they were setting that up because they have a head, they could just add a robot body to it. So who knows what could happen? Because I know some people are thinking that Godzilla versus Kong will be the end of the MonsterVerse if it's not successful.
I hope
So
not.
hopefully that gets some sort of answer. I hope not either, because like there's a lot we can do, and plus now there's going to be a Godzilla, not Godzilla King Kong anime based on the MonsterVerse. So I hope this isn't the end for the MonsterVerse, that it keeps going.
Hmm. Like one of the things I am apprehensive about because it's going to be released in theaters and on HBO Max. I don't know how many people are actually going to go to the theater and see it. So I don't know if that's going to mess with their box office a bit. So I guess it will really depend how the viewership is on that one. I assume it's going to do really well on HBO Max, but as far as box office and how much they'll do with that, not sure. So that time will tell. And then also the critic rating, like because people didn't like King of the Monsters. It's going to be more of the stuff that people didn't like from this, or is this going to turn things around critically again? We'll have to see. Um, but yeah,
I
I hope.
believe it has what a 79 on Rotten Tomatoes so far through the first reviews, and it already came out in China, I believe, and it did do good at the box office there. So
Oh, so
maybe there is
79.
a future.
Yeah, that is the highest rated of the MonsterVerse so far. So yeah, there might be some hope.
I can check right now. Either it was either 79 or it was like 74. Yeah, 79. Currently fresh at 79%.
Okay. All right. So yes, we'll be keeping our eyes on that when it comes out. But yeah, I want this to go. I want this to go as long as they can with this MonsterVerse. There's so much potential they have with this. Um, yeah. So hopefully, Godzilla vs Kong will do really well. But anyway, back to King of the Monsters. Um, you anything you want to talk about before we close it out?
Um, like I talked, like me and Dwayne talked earlier. It's just a really good time to be a geek for something, because after years of something that you like being always shit on, it's just weird now that the geek culture is now the pop culture. Like superheroes make so much money, the monster movies are being made. It's just such a weird time to be a geek. And I still say that even if the box office and critical reviews are always bad, most times the things that we like, critics don't care, but the
Right.
fans do. And I still say the fans love this movie.
Oh
Watch,
yeah.
literally go on YouTube and watch literally the reactions fans had during G Fest when they aired King of the Monsters. Because if you don't know what G Fest is, G Fest is the annual Godzilla convention that happens in Chicago or like Illinois. It always happens. Unfortunately, now with COVID, they had to postpone it, but they showed in a theater King of the Monsters during G Fest, and literally the fans were losing their shit during all the key moments and everything. It was so good. I highly recommend looking up the videos of G Fest fans going AWOL during King of the Monsters.
Yeah, I remember hearing stuff like that, like that the fans were freaking out over this before it was officially released and stuff like that. So, the critics can say whatever they want about this movie, but the audience will keep coming back for these. And it's like every time I see, there's the audience score is always high. This it's like an 83, and I think the previous ones is like 70s and 80s. So it's like people like these movies, so they're gonna keep coming back for them, and I hope they continue to. But yeah, I am going to give Godzilla King of the Monsters an A. I'm going to give it an A. It's the first A of 2021. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this. It's my favorite of the MonsterVerse. It's one of my favorite Godzilla kaiju monster films in general. It mostly did everything I wanted for a Godzilla movie, and I really liked how they utilized Mothra, Rodan, and Ghidorah. And I thought the character stuff was cool. And yeah, it's really good. You enjoy it. If you haven't watched it, I recommend you watch it. Yeah, your final thoughts, Nick. What grade do you give it? Or is it?
Uh,
I'm guessing it's a you give it a positive.
I give it a buy. This one definitely is a positive. I think it's clear. It, like I said earlier, this is pretty much an a modern show of Godzilla movie. It's pretty much, I think, even fans were saying it's pretty much a remake of Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and it's just so good. It's so much fun. It is even, you can say this. Our friend Crimson Cree, who she
Yes.
wasn't a Godzilla fan before, she
Yeah,
wasn't
she did
even
not
she was
like.
like, oh my god, that was fantastic.
Oh yeah, she watched. She didn't like 2014, but sat her down to watch King of the Monsters for the first time, and she loved it. So it's bringing people around, man. Like, yeah, I would not pass this one up, man. It's such a fun time. But yeah, that is our thoughts on Godzilla King of the Monsters. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment below and let us know. Okay, so the next one we will be talking about is Ultraman. No, Godzilla versus Kong.
I mean, I would gladly talk about Ultraman because holy shit, is Ultraman wild. Like, and actually, that ties back to Godzilla because they actually used Godzilla suits in Ultraman. Like, it's like literally, Dwayne, look up Jiris, like right now. It's just Godzilla with a frill, and I fucking love it.
Okay.
Oh,
Give me a minute.
like literally, I could talk about that shit for Ultraman, Kamen Rider. I could talk about that shit for days. That is definitely happening in a podcast.
Yeah, definitely want to talk about Ultraman in the future. How would you feel if they try to incorporate Ultraman in the MonsterVerse?
Oh god, that would be bad. If people thought King of the Monsters would be bad shit, Ultraman monsters are batshit fucking insane because most of them are not, because Ultraman isn't just monsters; they're aliens. Like they're full-fledged
Yeah.
aliens, and they get wild. Like that would be absolutely wild. And also, it kind of sucks that Shin Ultraman has been pushed back from its summer 2021 release. So it's hopefully
Oh
it still comes
no.
out later this year, but yeah, it got pushed back. So
Oh
hopefully
yeah.
we still get Shin Ultraman this year because that looks really good.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. They have to wait a while if they want to do MonsterVerse stuff because like we're still in this semi-grounded, universe. So it's like we have to like get you know, they would have to introduce all the sci-fi and stuff like gradually through the MonsterVerse if they're going to do that. But it would be interesting. They might have to ground Ultraman a little bit in order for that to work. But then they already introduced aliens in this movie, so the possibility is out there. Um, but yeah,
Plus, I think people still want their Godzilla versus Gamera movie.
I would like to see that. I want to see Space Godzilla. I want to see Gigan. I want to see King Caesar. Give me King Caesar. Um, oh, Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar. That's the Ultraman of the Godzilla universe. So they could do that first, man, before they start doing Ultraman.
Oh yeah. Oh no, actually, if he's gonna get, there's gonna be a new Godzilla anime, and Jet Jaguar is in it, and it looks ridiculous, and I love it. Godzilla's Singular Point, that's coming out this year too.
Hmm. So yes, a lot of possibilities, and I want Anguirus. Don't just make him skull and crossbones. Like no, I want to see him alive in the flesh. I want to see all that. I want to see it destroy Titanosaurus. I don't put them all in there. But anyway, yeah, the next movie we're talking about is Godzilla versus Kong. So tune in for our review for that. If you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all we have for you Kaiju Monster fans, and we will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.